to Unity of Tacoma. This is our online service. And if this is your first time watching, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And if you visited with us before, well, we're glad you came back. We're glad to have you. And, always know that you're welcome here. And so we have a musical guest this morning. And so, Christine, I would love it if you would go ahead and take us into some music this morning.
I've got peace flowing like a river, peace flowing like a river, peace flowing like a river, flowing as the body of God. I've got joy shining through my life. I've got joy shining through my life. I've got joy shining through my life, shining as the light of God. I've got love all around and through me, love all around and through me, love all around and through me, moving as the presence of God. I've got faith standing like a mountain, faith standing like a mountain, faith standing like a mountain, standing in the power of God, flowing as the body of God, moving as the presence of God, shining with the light of God, standing in the power of God.
Thank you, Christine. That's wonderful. So thank you so much. This is the first time we've gotten to do a service together, so I'm excited about that. So, and now we're going to hand it over to Victoria because we have a few announcements. Victoria?
Good morning, everybody. It's so good to see you again. Announcements for this week. August is moving in upon us. We are leaving July this week. And starting out on Saturday, the 1st of August, will be our next Sandwich Making Saturday, our outreach program for helping to feed a portion of the homeless population here in Tacoma. We work with the Kingfisher Tiny Village at this time, and we create 100 sack lunches and donate bottled water. And we also have donations of clean used clothing and bedding and personal care products. And something else on that list for the homeless that almost always is direly in need of is men's Depends. And that's not something that people usually probably think about, but it's a very important item. So that'll be next Saturday, which is August 1st at 10:45 in the morning at the same usual place. Also, we have another exciting thing happening in August, and that would be August 13th at 4 p.m. Becky Whitehead, our minister, is going to be teaching us a class about abiding our language. Our language is so important. It expresses who we are. It can create problems, but it also can create solutions. And we're going for the positive approach about how to make our language better, how to make it more positive, how to help bring about the springing idea of the power of language to create peace and harmony in our own sphere, but also beyond that. If we can influence ourselves to create better language and more thoughtful language, and that transmutes to others, it's a ripple effect. So our language is going to be the pebble that's going to be skipped in the water and make whirlpools of radiation of positive, peaceful energy in the world. So this is a beginning on August 13th at 4 p.m. and a Zoom. If you're interested, please contact us through our website. And there'll be more particulars about this next week. So we're excited about that upcoming. And I hope I got it all right, Becky.
You did fine. You did
Okay.
fine. And there'll be a lot more information coming for sure. So let's go ahead and do our prayer for protection. And if you will, let's do it in the call and response type way. If you're muted, though, just speak it to yourself. So the light of God surrounds us. And that light. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God. I do apologize. I'm not sure what's going on here this morning. All right, so let's try that one more time. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The presence of God protects us, or the power of God protects us. And the presence of God surrounds us. I am that presence. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so we're going to have Sharon S. do another song for us. Thank you, Sharon.
I'm Christine S., and I'm going to do a song this morning, and I want to share that this morning's music is all original music.
I do apologize. I have a friend in Georgia named Sharon S. And so every time I think of you, I remember her. So I do apologize.
I'm open, I allow it. I let the good flow through me. I'm open, I allow it. I let love flow through me. Finding the courage to weather the storm, keeping my heart open when I'm afraid of being torn. Trusting I'm strong enough to see the pain I've caused. Finding faith and clarity to lead me on. So I'm open, I allow it. I let the good flow through me. I'm open, I allow it. I let love flow through me. All I need is right here, right now. So I will be the love that I am. I release and let go of resistance, control, and open myself to more than I've known. 'Cause I'm open, I allow it. I let the good flow through me. I'm open, I allow it. I let love flow through me. All of life is conspiring for my good. All of life is conspiring for my good. 'Cause I'm open, I allow it. I let the good flow through me. I'm open, I allow it. I let love flow through me. I'm open, I allow
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. And Christine S. Young. And like I said, I do apologize. You know, you'll put something in your mind. And when you and I were messaging back and forth, I was reminded of my friend named Sharon S. from Georgia. And it was like, okay, you can't call her. You got to make sure. So you focus on something for so long and then it happens. So that's a true experience of how our minds and our consciousness works. When we focus on something, sometimes it will derail us unintentionally. So so thank you, and we'll hear from you again between the talk and the meditation, and I look forward to it. So thank you, Sharon. Or Chris. Oh my gosh. Christine S. There we go. Oh, so now that I have stuck my foot in my mouth several times, let's go ahead and do the service. Oh, so last time we were together, we explored what it means to become open and receptive to divine abundance. And we affirmed that God is our source and that our good may reach us through many different channels, different avenues, different ways. And so today we're going to take that next step. We're going to move from recognizing abundance to circulating it. You know, we move from asking, what can I receive, to asking, what is mine to give? And we still have the same affirmation this month as I'm open to and receptive to the infinite flow of divine abundance. Every day, I receive and give freely, trusting that good is always flowing to and through me. You know, so last week we focused on that first part, I'm open and receptive. And so this time we're going to focus on later on where it talks about including both receiving and giving. You know, Charles Fillmore, our co-founder, taught that prosperity is not meant to become stagnant. Divine substance must be received, expressed, used, and circulated. You know, spiritual abundance is not a pool that we guard fearfully. You know, it's not, oh, we hold on to this. And I see this in so many ministries and in individuals. They hold so tightly to what they have that they're stifling that flow of good to them. You know, when we are living in abundance, it's a living current. It moves, it circulates, it blesses. And we're not merely containers of divine good, but we are channels ourselves through which divine good flows. You know, throughout nature, life depends on circulation. The heart receives blood and sends it forth. The lungs, they receive breath and they release breath. The clouds receive moisture and return it as rain. You know, trees draw nourishment from the earth and then they offer shade, they offer fruit, oxygen, and beauty. Several years ago, I was traveling up the West Coast and I was up in one of the redwood forests. And we went and we experienced the forest on horseback. And we had a guide with us and I was so intrigued because our guide shared with us how that ecosystem that was right there was all harmonious in how it worked with each other. It talked about the ocean breeze coming in, but it had salt in the air and the moisture and came in that way. And that some of the trees that were first on closest to the shore, they would pull that in and they would filter out the salt. And then it would venture in more to the redwoods. And then the redwoods would take it and it would drip down and it would then nourish the ferns and the things that were on the floor of the forest. And I thought, why can't we be more like that? Why can't we be in that flow of harmonious giving and receiving and supporting all aspects of life? Because is flourishing during that demonstration of giving and receiving. You know, Charles Fillmore also described substance as the omnipresent spiritual potential. And yet that substance, it could be shaped and expressed through consciousness and action. A divine idea may come to us in meditation, but we have to act on it. It's not just it's an idea and it sits there. You know, love may fill our hearts, but we have to express it. You know, if it just stays in there, it's not doing really anybody any good. You know, a gift, you know, it may be present within us, but we have to develop it and share it. I'm sure Christine S. wasn't born playing the piano and singing a beautiful song. It was something that she had to work with and develop and live into and accept that that was her beautiful gift to share with the world. Imagine taking a deep breath in and refusing to exhale. Can you do it? I've tried it a few times, and for some reason, I just can't just hold it. You know, the very breath is meant to sustain us. And when that breath is meant to sustain us, but if we're trying to hold it, then we become restrictive. Receiving and releasing are both sacred, absolutely sacred. In that same way, prosperity consciousness, it includes wise circulation of our times, of our talents, resources, circulation of love, encouragement, and creativity. We receive and we give. We're filled and we overflow. We're blessed and we become a blessing. Did you realize that? Did you realize that you are a blessing? Absolutely. Our fifth principle, it teaches that knowing spiritual truth isn't enough, but we have to live the truth we know. We can read every prosperity book ever printed. We can listen to every prosperity talk. We can take every course. We can repeat every affirmation. But unless our understanding becomes embodied in our choices, in our habits, well, it's just an idea then. We have to live it to bring and breathe life into it. Abundance consciousness becomes real when we practice it. And we practice abundance when we share encouragement rather than withholding it. We practice it when we give responsibly. We practice abundance when we celebrate another person's success. I don't know that we're doing enough of that in the world today. Celebrating each other, celebrating when something goes good for someone else. We practice abundance when we release what no longer serves us. Whether it be something, we circulate things out of our closet, we circulate things out of our homes, we circulate things out of our life, we circulate ideas out of our consciousness when they no longer serve us, when they no longer fit. And so we practice abundance when we use our gifts instead of burying them down in fear. When we receive graciously and joyfully, and when we give graciously and joyfully, that is that demonstration of abundance. When spiritual communities speak about giving, people sometimes assume that the conversation is only about financial contributions coming into the community. That's not what it's all about. Financial giving, it's one meaningful way of expressing and being a good steward, but it's not the only form. We give through our presence, through listening and encouragement. We give through prayer and creativity and kindness. And we give through our willingness to forgive. I know a lot of ministers who don't like to even give talks about prosperity and abundance because you could almost see, if you're standing in a room full of people, you can almost see people turn off when you start talking about abundance because everybody has gotten it so framed with being about money. And it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. And to me, that's the importance of really understanding and leaning into the truth of who we are. When we feel and know that we are divine beings and that everything is available to us, why are we sitting back not using it? Why are we wasting it, basically? We have a divine inheritance. And that is the abundance of everything that our hearts desire and that is required for us to live into our true purpose. And last time we talked, I talked about the 12 powers, the faculties within us. When we use love to bless and wisdom to guide and strength to support, when we use faith to encourage and power to speak truth, we're circulating divine abundance. Every person has something to contribute. And you may not have every material resource you desire, but you're not spiritually empty. There's love within you. There's wisdom within you. There's experience within you. And that divine gift that only you can express in your particular way. So the deeper question is not merely how much do I have, but the true question is, how is Spirit inviting me to use what I have? The spiritual giving doesn't come from guilt, manipulation, or fear. Spiritual giving doesn't come because some minister got up and said, da 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 da. It's not about if I give enough, perhaps God will approve of me, or if I sacrifice myself completely, perhaps I'll become worthy. If I say no, am I a bad person? Oh, see, that's the form of it that I grew up with in the tradition of my upbringing. But unity teaches that our worth is inherent, that we are the divine essence, and we don't give to earn God's love. We give because love is already within us and it's seeking expression. Myrtle taught us the importance of listening to that indwelling spirit. That inner guidance helps us know when to say yes and when to say no. Sometimes no is one of the best gifts that we can give. When we give, when we rest, and when we establish a healthy boundary, those are the important pieces. Those are acts of abundance. Abundance doesn't require us to erase ourselves and to say, oh, I have to give it away because, that's what I'm called to do. Well, if you are called to do that, then fine, but that's not a requirement. We don't have to demean and diminish ourselves in order to be living in a state of abundance. Generosity without wisdom becomes depletion, and giving without inner guidance can become a resentment. And so true giving is guided by love and wisdom, and it is part of that spiritual order. We give freely, we give responsibly, we give joyfully, and we give because our divine nature seeks expression. There's the story of the widow and the widow's mite, and it's a gospel story. And, Jesus observed people placing gifts in the treasury, like in the offertory bag, you might say. Some gave large amounts from their surplus, while the poor widow, she came up and she gave 2 small coins. It's referred to as a widow's mite. And Jesus recognized that spiritual quality of her offering. The lesson isn't about that the poverty should be glorified or that people should give beyond their ability. That's not what that's about. That deeper lesson is that the spiritual value of the gift is not measured by its size. A seemingly small gift can carry great love. A short phone call can restore hope. A simple meal can communicate care. A handwritten note could change somebody's day. I'm a firm believer that when we're out in the world, and especially if we're in a store, because what I recognize is our cashiers and our clerks, they're very, they don't receive gratitude very often. And so if we can give them a smile, to me, if I'm sharing a smile, I'm sharing something of abundance. I'm sharing gratitude. And many times that smile that you share may be the only smile they see in a day. And so we understand that consciousness accompanies our actions, and that love and faith and intention behind the gift are part of the gift itself. And so we should never underestimate what Spirit can do through a willing heart. I can't begin to tell you how many conversations have started and became conversations of love and joy and expression. They started with a smile. They started with a kind word. They started with seeing someone, calling them by name. So many times people feel invisible. But if we can give the gift of seeing them and calling them by name and expressing gratitude, we're elevating them and we're elevating the consciousness of the planet. And so just remember that, that this is a beautiful reminder of divine abundance and that nothing should be reduced to a financial formula. We don't give $10 in order to force the universe to return $100. No, it's given in love. We don't manipulate spiritual law. I've heard people say, well, you can't outgive God. Well, that's true because everything is available to us. So how can you give more than that? But the whole thing, in Charles Fillmore's prosperity teaching was not a scheme for material gain. It was a call to align consciousness with divine ideas and then act with faith. Act from that place of wisdom and integrity and generosity. We give because generosity expands consciousness. We give because fear contracts us, it shrinks us, it puts us in that small place. We give because life expresses through circulation. And I don't know about you, but when I'm able to, even in that interpersonal thing, when I am able to do something or speak something that puts a smile and a glow on someone's face, my heart just gets huge. It's like, oh, I'm so full. It is so wonderful. But there's a point here I want to make about something. So much of the time we think that if I give a smile, then that means I'm going to get smiles. If I give money, that means that money's going to come to me. But it doesn't work like that because everything that happens is energy and it's an exchange of energy. And so if I give financial support, it may come to me back to me as joy. It may come to me as a relationship or an insight, an opportunity. It may come to me in the form of healing or maybe a renewed purpose. We don't control the form, but we have to be open to the understanding that everything that we do, that we say, everything that we experience is energy in action. And we have to trust that movement of good and just recognize just because I gave $10 doesn't mean that 10 or 100 or whatever is going to come back to me in that way. It may come to me a millionfold in other blessings, and it probably will. Charles Fillmore identified release and sometimes called elimination or renunciation as one of the 12 spiritual powers. Release is essential to prosperity. We cannot continually welcome new good while clinging to everything from the past. One of the things that I've done, and when I've been, serving as a senior minister in a congregation, we would always have circulation days. And we would clean out the stuff in the church closets as well as individuals cleaning out things at home. We came to that place of releasing physical clutter. And so as we did that, then we opened ourselves up and created space for more good to flow to us in whatever energetic form was ours to be open to receiving. Now, we're talking about physical release, but what about those things that we hold on to? It seems like we're living in a time where there is so much resentment and anger and hostilities in emotions in the world. And so maybe we need to release resentment. Maybe we need to release shame and anger and fear. We may need to release the belief that says, this is the way my life has always been. So this is the way I guess it's going to stay. Just because something's always been one way doesn't mean it has to continue. When I start working with a ministry, one of the first things I say to them, and I let them know that I have a pet peeve. And one of the pet peeve, I have two actually. One is, well, we've always done it this way. Good for you. I'm glad that you've always done it that way. And are you open to seeing if there's a new way that might bless you more? And the other thing is, well, we tried that once about 20 years ago and it didn't work. It's a new day, folks. We're not 20 years ago. Let's see if there's a new way to do it that it might work today. We don't have to identify with what was. We don't have to take it on that this is how it's always going to be. So, in prosperity consciousness, we may need to release a few statements that we lean into a lot of times. I never have enough. Money's always a struggle. So when I say those things, it reminds me so much of the class we're going to do. So if I say I never have enough, I'm affirming that. And guess what? I won't. And if I say money's always a struggle, guess what? It will be. I'm claiming it. I'm bringing it. I'm breathing it into existence. You know? So it's important that we need to release all of those things that don't get us where we want to be. It maybe has been an experience, but one of the biggest blessings that we have is that we have the ability to shift and to change our minds, to change our consciousness. And that says that our past no longer controls our spiritual identity. We bless what has been, and we retain the wisdom that came from those experiences, and we release limitations. We make room for new expressions of good. I spoke about scarcity consciousness or lack consciousness last time we were together, and it treats another person's success as a threat. It says, why them and not me? I bought a lottery ticket yesterday and I haven't even looked to see what happened last night. I don't know if somebody won the big thing. And if they did, good for them. I'm glad for them. And rather than saying, well, dang, I wish it was me. Well, we can wish it was us, but that doesn't mean that we have to get stuck in that. You know, just because somebody gets something doesn't mean that we have to feel that we can't have it. Unity teaches that there's one presence and one power expressing through countless individuals all the time. Another person's light doesn't diminish ours. Their purpose doesn't replace ours. Their success is not something that is exhausting the supply in the universe. We can bless their good and remain open to our own. Rather than focusing on what something that someone else has or does or has experienced, we need to focus on our desires. What is my heart speaking for? What is my heart asking that I pay attention to? We bless everyone around us, bless them in their good and bless me in my good. Release comparisons, and that helps to restore us to spiritual alignment. In an infinite universe, there's room for every person to express the divine uniquely. There was another parable that was and that brings up this other parable that was I remember as a child thinking about this a lot. Jesus told the parable about the servants who were entrusted with different amounts of resources. Those who used and developed what they had received experienced increase. And then there was the servant who buried his gift because he was fearful and it remained limited. It didn't grow. So metaphysically, the talents represent the spiritual capacities and ideas and abilities. And those are entrusted to us. And, fear says, don't try. It says, don't risk being seen. It says someone else may be more qualified. Or in the case of this servant, it says, oh, if you put that out there and invest it and lose it, the master's going to be upset. So I'm going to hide it. I'm going to bury it. And then the master will be so excited that I kept it safe. But that wasn't really the way the story turned out. The story turned out that it was the one who buried it because they had missed their opportunity. They had missed their chance to live in that divine abundance. So it's about exercising that truth of who we are, exercising all that is ours to express. Everything in our experience grows when we apply it. Wisdom and creativity and generosity, those things all grow when we work in them. And we're taught that every spiritual faculty becomes stronger as we consciously develop it. The question isn't whether your gift looks like somebody else's. The question is whether you're using it and that you're using what's been entrusted to you. Your gift wasn't placed within you merely for your own private benefit. Your life is part of divine circulation of good. So true prosperity is connected with purpose. And we prosper not only when we receive more, but when we become more fully available to express who we are as divine expressions. And money is just one form of spiritual substance. you know? And it's important for us just to live into that and know that everything around us has the potential to be seen as an abundance experience. One of the things we can ask is, am I using my resources in a way that reflect my values? Do my spending, saving, and giving and sharing reflect faith and wisdom? Am I caring responsibly for what has been trusted to me? Am I supporting the people and the causes that express the kind of world that I want to help create? Spirituality doesn't mean careless spending or avoiding practical responsibility. It means bringing prayer and wisdom and order and gratitude into our relationship with our resources. Prosperity becomes sacred when we align it with purpose. Imagine a clear stream flowing through the landscape. And when that stream is open, the water moves freely. And when it becomes blocked, the flow is restricted. Fear and resentment, shame and greed, though unforgiveness. The daily word today was about forgiveness. Unforgiveness can become an inner obstruction. And we don't condemn ourselves when we have those experiences, when we find ourselves there, but we notice them and we bring them into right alignment, into right consciousness. And so we may ask ourselves a few questions. Why am I afraid to receive? Or where am I afraid to give? And what am I holding that's ready to be released? Much of this journey of spiritual expression and spiritual unfolding is a lot of self-talk and questioning ourselves. Not degrading, but saying, okay, why did you have that thought? Why is it that you're afraid to do this? And really getting clear and being honest with ourselves. So here's the practice for your week. Choose one intentional act of circulation each day. Maybe give a sincere compliment or offer encouragement. Could be donate something useful or share a meal. Maybe support a cause. Or release an object, something that is a personal belonging that you no longer need. Forgive. Forgive a small offense. Forgive a big offense, Receive help without apologizing for having to ask for it. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one for me. So I'm going to assume that it's probably a big one for several of us. Use one of your spiritual gifts. And then maybe at the end of the day, take a moment and reflect. How did good flow to me today? And how did good flow through me today? It's a big task, and I encourage you to give it a shot. And so as I close today, I just want to remind us all that we are not separate from the flow of good. We live within it. We receive from it. We contribute to it. And we are blessed. And as we are blessed, we are a blessing. Our words matter. Our presence matters. Our gifts matter. Our generosity matters. And the love we express becomes part of the healing of the world. And we know that the world could use some healing right now. And so we are called to be part of that master healing of the planet. And so let us open our hearts and our hands and let us receive freely. Let us give wisely and release what's completed its season. And just trust that divine good is never exhausted. And once again, the affirmation for this month: I am open and receptive to the infinite flow of divine abundance. Every day I receive and give freely, trusting that good is always flowing to and through me. And so I want to invite Christine S. to go ahead and do us another piece of music, and then we'll go into a time of meditation.
sunk into the sand, trapped in my practice of playing small, pushing with all my might, hands against the wall, cornered by my expectation of it all. Open to the vision next for me. Open up the door and let me see the map that lights my path from here to there, where I breathe you. Fill me deeper, make me stronger. Fly me higher, build me taller. Set me free, let me fly. It's time to fly. Let me free fall into service. Let me dance into my work. I rejoice in every moment when I breathe you. Fill me deeper, make me stronger. Fly me higher, build me taller. Set me free, let me fly. It's time to fly. My path is lit and I have vision. Every thought begins with love, love, love. Inspiration drives my passion when I breathe you. Fill me deeper, make me stronger. Fly me higher, build me taller. Set me free, let me fly. It's time to fly. Oh, when I stop and start from right where I stand, take a deep breath in and let my world expand. Let the fear and worry fall away. Listen to that still small voice say, fill me deeper, make me stronger. Fly me higher, build me taller. Set me free, let me fly. It's time, oh, it's time to fly. Fill me deeper, make me stronger. Fly me higher, build me taller. Set me free. It's time to fly. I can fly when I breathe you. Yeah.
Mhm. Gosh, thank you so much, Christina. That is beautiful. And so let us go ahead now and just prepare for this time of meditation. Allow your body. Allow your body to become still. And let your hands softly rest. Softly rest and be comfortable. Take in a breath and gently breathe out. And again, breathe in and release. And with each breath, let the concerns of the outer world, let them grow quiet. Just let them be still. You know, we teach that there is only one presence and one power, God the good. And that presence is here. That power is within you. That good is expressing through you. And just imagine a beautiful stream of light flowing from the heart of divine love. This stream is clear and radiant and endless. It carries peace. It carries wisdom. It carries healing. Oh, and it carries every form of good known in the universe. Oh, and see the stream of light flowing towards you. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to struggle for it. You simply become receptive. Oh, and silently affirm to yourself, I receive divine good with an open heart. I receive divine good with an open heart. And allow the light to move through your mind. Every thought, every limitation, all those thoughts are softened. Every fear is held in divine love. And that light moves into your heart. And you are filled with peace. You are filled with compassion. Oh, you're filled with the assurance that God is your source. That light moves through your arms and into your hands. Now, one hand represents receiving, and the other represents giving. And they're both sacred. Both are necessary. And then silently affirm, I receive freely, and I give freely. I receive freely, and I give freely. And bring to mind anything that you may be holding on to too tightly. Perhaps it's a fear or a resentment. Perhaps it's an old identity or the belief that there's not enough. And call upon your spiritual power of release. You don't need to force anything away. You just place it in that stream of divine light. And as we do this, we affirm that I release with love and make room for greater good. I release with love and make room for greater good. And now, bring to mind your unique spiritual gifts. Perhaps you offer kindness and wisdom. Perhaps you offer creativity or leadership or prayer, courage, or compassion. Perhaps you offer many of these. And see your gifts as rays of divine light. Oh, they just emanate out from you. Those beautiful gifts, that beautiful light. And no, these are not insignificant. They are expressions of that divinity within you. And if you'll affirm to yourself, the gifts of Source within me, they bless the world. The gifts of Source within me bless the world. And in the silence, allow Spirit to reveal one simple way, just a simple way that you can become a channel of good this week. And just listen gently as we go into the silence. Listen for that way that you can become a channel of good in the silence. divine blood, oh, divine good flows to me. Divine good flows through me. And divine good flows from me to bless others. Make this your claim. Oh, see that light within your heart expanding beyond your body. Oh, see it fill the room that you're in. It touches every individual, everything in your space. It touches everything in this spiritual community. And it moves beyond the walls of where you are in the moment, out into the neighborhood, to the families, to the workplaces, to the world. And we bless those who are experiencing financial hardship. We bless those who are searching for work or opportunity. We bless those who feel alone or unsupported. And we behold the divine presence within each person and within each circumstance. We know that divine wisdom and strength and possibility are awakening within each of these at this very moment. And take a deep breath in and slowly release it. And feel the support beneath you. Become aware of the room around you. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes as I speak the affirmation for this month once again. I am open and receptive to the infinite flow of divine abundance. Every day, I receive and I give freely, trusting that good is always flowing to and through me. And so it is. Amen. And so, Christine S., do you have another piece of music for us?
I'm holding love in my heart, peace. I'm knowing peace in my mind, joy. I'm feeling joy in my life. We are one and together we rise. Love, I'm holding love. I'm knowing peace in my mind, a joy. I'm feeling joy in my life. We are one and together we rise. Together we rise. Together we rise. Standing in beloved community. Together we rise, together we rise. Through love, peace, and joy, together we rise. Love, I'm holding love in my heart, peace. I'm knowing peace in my mind, a joy. I'm feeling joy in my life. We are one and together we rise. Together we rise. Together we rise. Standing in beloved community. Together we rise. Together we Together we rise, together we rise. Through love, peace, and joy, together we rise. Through love, peace, and joy, together we rise.
So much. That was wonderful. And we do rise together. We do it all together. And so we've come to that part of our service where, where we open our hearts to give. And so do know that all the donations that we receive go to support the mission and the various outreach programs here at Unity of Tacoma. As you see on your screen, there are several ways to donate. And if you don't get a chance to take care of any of these, you can just reach out to someone here at Unity of Tacoma and we can fill you in on all the wonderful ways that you can give and become engaged. And so we move on now, and we're going to go ahead and get ready to close out. So I guess I have a question. It was something that I neglected to find out. I have a recording of the peace song, but I didn't know, Christine S., if that was something you're going to do it. Great. Then we don't have to deal with my recording. So, all right. So I'm going to hand it back over to you. Know that I send you all love, peace, and joy. I will see you in a couple of weeks, and don't forget to be part of that class we have coming up. It was kind of interesting today as I was talking, I was hearing the words and it's like, man, this all fits right together with Watch Your Language. So, Christine S., thank you so much.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with
Oh, so blessings to everyone. And I was so glad, at least that broke up a little bit on the end of it there, Christine S., for me. So that tells me